Great day, everybody. Pray all is well for everybody on this great Wednesday. Um, of course, you already know who this is by now. I apologize. Actually, I was supposed to have been up here yesterday with this message that I was supposed to have been presenting. I do apologize. I like to try to keep to my word. So if I ever tell y'all that I'm going to do something, I don't do it. Please understand it's not intentional. Something either came up or, I try to stick to the script, to the best of my ability. And if I make a promise, I try to really fulfill that unless, life would be life. And so sometimes things happen. So that's why I wasn't able to, get up here yesterday, to do the live as I told you I was going to be. So yeah, go ahead and put it, the one that's in the room. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm doing a live very fast. Okay. Plug it up in your room. So, with that said, I'm here tonight and I'm gonna try to be fast because, it's really not really a long, live I wanted to do, but I just wanted to kind of like, give y'all a little bit of pointers on some things, and go back over a little few things that I posted. I've been telling y'all years ago, kind of where we're heading at, as far as preparations and some things is going to be a few things to talk about as well. And the reason I decided to make a live post because it's too much to type, number one. And number two, sometimes it helps us out to be able to go back to a video and hear it versus reading it. Because sometimes our tolerance level when it comes down to reading is at a zero. Unfortunately, our attention span is, when it comes down to reading. But anyway. So here we go. Years ago, because I was woken up to a lot of things when I seen the world for what it really was this years ago, and guys have been sending me in different spaces and been under different leaderships and some leaderships in for seasons, and some people I still kind of is in contact with, and in reference to number one, getting my life together, on track with the Lord, changing from the person that I used to be to the person I am now. So getting my spiritual life per se, together and in order. And I'm still work in progress, not perfect. None of us would be perfect, honestly. But every day is a work in progress. But compared to where I started from, God has really been working on me. He's done a really good work on me, and I'm really grateful and thankful for that growth, spiritually and also on a maturity level, naturally. So with that said, with that covered, and then that's when a lot of other things started opening up into how the things in this world is really operating. When we're spiritually blind, we're not able to really see things for what it really is, and we just going on with life, and life is just as a everyday thing, the same old thing, same old everything, and just keeps repeating itself until God allows you to wake up and snap up out of the matrix, and you kind of realize you've been being played the whole time by the whole demonic system that we are basically under. So you begin to, number one, be grateful that God woke up and you're still here. But two, you become a little angry to the fact that you've been played. you realize that you've been played the whole time. Though you say, but you develop this anger because you're like, wow, and then so many people either totally lost or no longer here because of the way the game was being presented to us, and we played it according to the way the game was supposed to be so-called played. So with that said, now that people are getting more enlightened about the really ways of this world and how the system and things really, really work. And this is for people for all aspects. This is no about what the current things is going on now. This is everybody. You'll consciously, you will see that we're all, everybody, all races and stuff, we're all being played in our face, and we are actually casualties, basically, in a sense, in a system that was really designed to destroy us for the sake of other people's gain. So, with all of that said, we got to a point in life now where everything now that was running the way that it was is no longer. Let's put it that way. And now that things are coming to an end, on a natural and on a spiritual level, things is kind of ramping up out here, and nothing is really for certain. And so you got the people that's higher up, let's put it that way, or people that's really, really together, let's put it that way. They've been knowing the things that we're actually facing now, and that we're facing, and they've been prepared. A lot of us wasn't, and the ones who was aware just did not have the means to prepare in a sense. But the ones who was aware and did have the means to prepare, they have been doing all they can to do what they can with what they have, the little that they have, to get prepared with. And so here we are now, where there's shortage on things, crisis. You got wars, rumors of wars, all kinds of stuff that's taking place, and which we knew we was going to get here. Number one is scriptural, it's biblical, and a lot of us seen the signs a long time ago. We're here now, and a lot of us not prepared. So what do we do to get to a point to where we are at least can survive the what ifs? The first thing we need to do is, like I tell y'all all the time, is you need to get your faith base, together. Because no matter how much substance you have, for it's like money, materials, even things, that you may have to protect you and your family, with, you're going to still need a spiritual backing. And that's where, as you can see, even where the world is at today, that's where a lot of people is lacking spiritual foundation, so to speak. With that said, there's a lot of things that's working against us that's not really in the news, and the news is not going to cover a lot of things. For the sake, people will go in a panic mode. A lot of things is coming out because, like I said, the devil have to expose himself, and for that reason, which I say, it's not funny now, but it's crazy because a lot of people thought was crazy is finding out these people was not really so crazy after all. It wasn't so far off after all. People have been trying to get it into everybody's brains that things is not really what it seems. But sometimes people, when you hard-headed and you just got to always see to believe, many times we end up having to learn the hard way. So now that these people are preparing for the worst, because the worst is coming, believe it or not, it's a lot of things that's coming, especially to America. America's under judgment. So I tell people all the time, we're under judgment. And this is not even something I want to talk about because I'm here in America. And unfortunately, I pray that I be able to escape. But even if I don't, I pray that my soul makes it to heaven. That's just where I'm at now. It's no need to fear. It is what it is. But we're here now. We're here now, and that's because the people who has been in leadership, not just meaning political wise, but even in the churches, let us down. I believe that this world, especially in America, we wouldn't have gotten so far down the rabbit hole had everyone held their weight and really stood on business when it came down to the faith base pertaining to the things of God, and getting people prepared and ready spiritually and mentally for the things that was to come and that was coming. But it happened, and it is what it is. We're here now. So now what do? So this is where I'm at now with things. And after I tell you all these things, and I'm explaining to you why these things will be very, very important to have, because of a situation that happened to me the other day. And actually, for the last few weeks with one situation. Number one, I told y'all, just like the other day, I told y'all, we live in a country where no one is safe. Nobody's safe. Anybody can locate you, find you, or whatever. So you, like I said, you always want to live a life to be prepared for any kind of situation, whether it's a emergency, could be a disaster, or any kind of thing, a threat or anything coming to you in or in your neighborhood. You always want to be prepared. It could be a natural disaster or any kind of anything. You want to just make sure that you're prepared, having things to cover yourself. So with that said, excuse me, this thing keeps okay, but this camera's coming up. I'm gonna put this on just in case. No, he's like trying to, you just don't know. But anyway, give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. We're back. So with that said, you want to make sure that an event, for example, like if there's a power outage, what would you do in a instance if your power to go out? What do you have in your home? Do you have candles? Do you have flashlights? Do you have, like gas lights? Do you have generators? What do you have? You have to think of like the what ifs. What if something was to take place today? What do you have in your home that would be able to sustain you and your family? And two things was to get better, if it was to get better. And that's basically where I'm trying to get people to the point of understanding how it's really real out here. And it's to the point that you need to go ahead and get things situated and stop playing around. Other countries is already feeling the effect, and if you've been following around, not just the TV station news, I'm talking about social media news, where you get the real deal news, and not what they want you to have, but to understand where a lot of other countries and other places and things going through and people are actually really experiencing and stuff. You'll understand that how real it is and how real it can get, and how real it is going to get actually eventually here as well in America. Do you have things stocked up for you and your family? Do you have plans? Do you have a family plan? Basically, have you come up with a emergency plans for you and your family? Have you had talks about things? Backup forms of information. You have family members' information written down. You got important documentations. Do you have basically the necessities? Do you have things that you're really going to need if you ever had to get up and go run? Like suppose there was an emergency evacuation. whether it was due to a terrorist attack or due to a natural disaster, or anything, do you have everything that you need to be able to uh, to flee if you needed to, do you have everything that you would need? Like, if you need to hurry up and just go, have time to pack things. Is things close enough to you to the point where if a emergency happened, you can just grab your stuff and just hurry up and go? Because sometimes whenever emergency happen, not all the time would you have a chance to go and have time to go pack. Even if like a bad storm was to come and it's tell everybody to evacuate or something, you want to make sure that everybody's on accord, same accord. You want to make sure that you have things together, and backups. Now that I got that out of the way, so you want to make sure you have a line of communication, not just with a cell phone, like radios, walkie-talkies. You want to have backup, like even cell phones, backup cell phones, which this is what I'm gonna get at with the cell phone situation in a second. But like having backup cell phones, portable cameras, because even when the electric goes off or something, you still want to be able to have access to some things, if ever an emergency, because when things get desperate out here, people get desperate, and anything can go off. So you want to make sure that you have those things in place. So now that we got things like stocking up on water, like non-perishable things, foods. Let's see if I'm missing anything. Definitely water. I know a lot of people's against bottled waters, and I know there's a lot of things that's in water bottles, but having something is better than nothing, until you can get better. Not everybody know how to go out here in the wild and purify some water. Just do what you can to be able to do better. Just put it that way, Or also, some tips is go online and look while we got a chance to go online, because that's another thing. Like, take advantage of your online avenues to be able to get educated on some things for a case of a survival situation. You may need a survival situation. Like, what can you learn? This is time to get to learn, know your neighbors, get good with your neighbors. Stop being like the world habit where everybody want to try to get everybody against each other, to hate each other. I don't care if your neighbor was green. You get what I'm saying? If ever emergency or anything was to happen here and everything else was closed up, broke down, you're gonna need your neighbors. So let's get out of that mindset of this caring just about me and mine. Yeah, you do want to care about you and yours, but at the same time, let's be realistic now, because you never know, something drastic may happen close by, and you may end up needing the same people that you may not feel like you don't like at this moment, or you may very well need them, the same people that you hate. So be mindful of the way you treat people. And that's another thing. Be very, very mindful of the way you treat people, because God has a way of showing you some things, and you be living in regrets. So understand this is not the time for any kind of hatred, But anyway, I get off that topic for right now. So now that we know that we're supposed to prepare get spiritually prepared and get naturally prepared, meaning like to make sure your home, you got all the necessities you need to the best of your ability, things that you would need to survive, food, water, and supplies and things that you may need for your home. What everybody should know what your home would need, and what you and your home requires to survive. And plus, like I said, you would need to make sure you have things to protect yourself as well. Like I said, reflect on some videos of different people. It doesn't mean you got to have everything to the T like everybody else have on their videos, or do everything to the T everybody else do. But just take heed. Just hear me out here. Just take heed to what you see. other people doing. So just wanted to throw that out there. Now, outside of the preparation and things, I wanted to bring attention to like a lot of things that's going on. We know, like with the human trafficking, we know, yes, of course, this racism things that's kicking up a notch, a big old notch. People, the scary part where we at in life right now is that you don't know who's who and what's what. When I seen about the young girl, escaping that man's car because she thought that this man was a police officer, it's not funny, but it's amazing to me. That's why I tell people, you need to talk to your children about certain things. Like, I don't care how old they are, talk to your kids about what's really going on to a level you think they would be able to understand. You don't want to overwhelm them, but you don't want to keep them not aware, of what's going on. Because I really believe that young girl would have known that that man was not in a police car to question whether he was of any kind of public service authority. She probably wouldn't not had allowed that man to get that close, enough to her to get her in his vehicle. But hi mom, hi, give me 1 second. Hey baby, give me 1 second. Okay. So with that said, and it hurt my heart, but I thank God that God sent the right people right on time to be able to rescue her and to save her. But it could have ended a whole different type of way. So my take on that is to if you're ever out, especially if you're out at dark time, which you shouldn't be, unless you're working or something, happen, you really need to be out there. But if you're ever out and you get stopped by a cop at dark time, I would call the local police station or the 911, let them know, look, I got pulled over. I'm not trying to run from the police or anything, but I'm going to go to this, I feel more comfortable pulling up to the police station. Because like I said, nowadays, we don't know, because there's some people who have police cars. There's actually some people with police cars, believe it or not, who perpetrate as if they are cops. And that's another reason I think a lot of people come up missing too, because these people actually thinking these are police officers, and come to find out they are not. It's some really sick individual out here, and you have to be aware, and you have to have common sense when you're dealing with a society that we are in today. So using your common sense for these type of animalistic type of demonic spirited people is going to be very, very key. That's why I said discernment is going to save a lot of people's lives. That's just my take. If I happen to be out, even at daytime, if it looks questionable, if it don't look like a legit type officer, if you ever get pulled over, I would call and keep it recorded. And that's another thing. Keep things. You should always have a backup camera. You want to always start tracking things. Cameras is going to be a lot of people's lifesavers and lifelines and testimonies. In this era that we in now. So having cameras even in your home, outside your home and around your home. It's going to be, it won't be a bad investment. Let's put it that way. It'll be worth having. We're starting to see that due to cameras, having cameras, a lot of people been caught that wouldn't necessarily been caught and would have got away scot-free with things if it wasn't for the camera, being recorded. So keep that in mind too. And around your home and around your vehicle as well. Also, my experience with the cameras and the cell phone, we have to be careful though with those. I will tell you, as I say, it's a really wicked time we're living in, because the things that we're trying to use also to protect us, sometimes those can be used against us to become prey, people can use it in other ways. Let's put it that way. I just bought a new cell phone a few days ago. I just got a new cell phone, and I was talking to someone on the phone about some things, and it was quite ironic, especially the conversation we was talking about, which was some real life things that was, taking place and things. Suddenly, first of all, the person I was talking to was having a hard time hearing me, and this is how I knew something was wrong with the phone, where you could tell somebody might have tried to tap into my phone. One thing about when you speak in truth and you're trying to help inform people and save people, evil don't like that. Evil don't like people being aware. Evil don't like people being saved, So evil likes to shut and silence people. And so I realized, because the person kept asking me, kept saying, can you hear me? Can you hear me talk? I can hear that person, but that person couldn't really hear me. So that's what really sparked a red flag with me. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's signal. And I moved all the way around, and I have good signal where I'm at. Like I said, this is a brand new phone. Suddenly, it froze. And I was like, wow. And I was trying to hang it up. It wouldn't even let me hang up the phone. So I was like, well, thank God that I had another backup phone. So that's why I was telling y'all, for any kind of situation, it's good to always have backup everything. And sometimes backups on things. You don't never want to leave yourself out there. You see what I'm saying? With just one choice. Because if someone was to try something, and that was like, for example, like if someone was up to something that day and they got into my phone and had my phone to where I couldn't make no calls, couldn't hang my phone up, and couldn't do anything with my phone, and that was the only way of communication I had, like I would have been in a world of trouble. But see, when you have common sense and you know what type of evil world that we're in, have enough common sense to realize this, that you need to have backup plans in every area of your life, because this is just where we at with evil. And sometimes even with my cameras, I did a test on it. Sometimes, like in my cameras, you could tell that someone's been kind of trying to tap into the sound of the cameras, because I have a way to be able to know when someone is doing something. Just put it that way. I'm not gonna tell that how I know, but just know I know when something is being intruded into, And I did another test on one of my cameras that's inside, and I have backup from those as well. But it was quite ironic. It was very, very ironic that, especially that was a newer one as well. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome. That's really awkward, So having that happen, you know what I mean? So it just made me drew a red flag to let everybody know to be mindful of things. You want to have backup on a lot of things that you may have. For example, if something goes out, or something get hacked into, or you're not able to have access to it, or just even if nature itself is the cause of something not being able to be used, what do you have for backup? What do you have to be able to supplement things, or whatever the situation may be? What do you have to supplement that for the just in case? So basically, that's what I was glad that I did have. And I'm always glad that I'm always prepared. I'm not saying that I'm, I'm the prep queen, but what I'm telling you is that I'm very aware of how things can go. And I'm trying to make sure that y'all know and be aware of how things can go. You live your life normal. Don't walk around in fear, but understand where we at in time as well. Things can happen. We're in spiritual battles, and there's natural battles out here going on, you know. So you just want to make sure that you're covered in every area of your life. So with that said, that was the last thing that I basically had to, like, you know, talk to y'all about as far as with that electronics. You need those cameras, but you want to also make sure you have backup, because unfortunately people do have the ability to tap into your electronics, believe it or not. Also check your patterns, like okay, for example, if you go home every night or every day a certain way, you might want to start like changing up your patterns, because you never know if someone's secretly following you. You want to make sure that, you know, you want to just change up some patterns in general. You know, if you're used to going to some stores sometimes, you know, and especially around the same time, you know, at every day, sometimes change up the days, sometimes change up the time, and sometimes just fall back, go to another store, just change it up a little bit, you know, like don't get so comfortable doing the norm. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I want to make sure there's nothing else I forgot. Also, I noticed that too, a lot of people, you know, with all the stuff going on with these kids and stuff, I'm noticing a lot of parents letting their children just roam. I see a lot of kids outside by themselves, no parents or nothing. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't have a clue to why these parents are not outside with their kids. And also, stop letting your kids walk home from schools. Stop letting your kids walk into the store. I'm telling you, it's just not safe. It's not safe out here. And like I said, don't walk around in fear, but you don't want to be so gullible where you just let your hair down and just think that everybody is good, and just because you're in a good neighborhood, you think that people. Okay, go sit down.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm coming. Give me a second. Just because you may be in a good neighborhood or whatever, to think that nothing bad can happen. No, we don't want nothing bad to happen, but you want to make sure that you're not positioning yourself to get in a vulnerable situation, because you're letting your guard down. You don't want to let your guard down. See, you don't want to let your guard down. Excuse me. Because that's another way a lot of people are getting snatched up, especially children. And children, especially when they're young, they're more vulnerable walking and being alone versus, you know, being with a crowd of kids, which even that can be dangerous too. But more so when they walking alone by themselves, like what happened to that girl. She was walking to one of her other parents' house by herself. You know, they're more vulnerable like that. So I don't care how busy you are, even if you got to push something behind, you know, or to the side, or, you know, delay it, or whatever you have to do. Just make sure that you figure something out to not let your kids be by yourself walking or left alone. What else that I need to cover? Let's see. Okay. Yeah, about that one. Also, I noticed too with jobs, different jobs, a lot of people get hurt or killed on their jobs due to like violence. If you're working at a job and they don't allow you to have things to protect yourself, or don't allow you to protect yourself, that's not the job for you. Yeah, that's not the job for you. Everybody at this point in life, and if they don't know, they just something seriously wrong, or they know they just don't want to. They just don't want you to know that they know. But everybody right now should have a pretty much great idea of what's going on out here in this earth. Nobody's really out here safe. So if you ever working for a company and they don't allow you to have whatever your weapon of choice is, it don't necessarily always have to be, pew-pews. It can, it could be anything nice, even the sharp pencil, anything, you need to be at a job where you can be able to work, make money for your family, and knowing that you're guaranteed to come home. If you ever got to go to a job and it's questionable if you're not gonna make it home, that's not the job for you. You need to pray to God that God open a door for you in a different type of environment. To number one, where it's more safe, and number two, where if it's ever a situation that you can get yourself out of a situation. You never want to put yourself somewhere where you at a vulnerable point where it could be a great chance that you may not make it out alive. You know what I mean? So this is more like I'm not gonna say a teaching. This is more like I said, an informative, like awareness. So it's actually taking a little longer than what I thought it would, but I wanted to make sure I cover everything and that y'all get what I'm trying to say. Create stock cards. Hey, give me 1 second. Oh, okay, yes. Another thing, I believe a lot of predators, traffickers and things are able to identify children from social media, whether it's through their kids, through their social media page, or through parents' social media pages, where they constantly, and I know sometimes our kids, that's why I took mine out. Sometimes our kids can be the cutest, we put them on the Lord, or something it could be like a great it could be something special, let's put it that way. It could be something very, very special, and you just want to just share it. I understand, because I'm a parent, I'm a grandparent, I am a child as well, I'm a sister, I'm everything. I know how it is. You want to just share, even about yourself. You want to limit some things you do with yourself too, but definitely with the kids, the children, we want to just share, like, oh, this is, a good moment, or a very beautiful picture, but our minds is to show it, because we are really happy or proud, but you got creeps out here. You see, not everybody's so proud. Some people is preying on opportunity to come after children, and so many young kids are just popping up missing. It's like there's no way, it's ridiculous. It's sad and sickening, because I just feel, Lord knows, Jesus, Lord, come on, we have to do better. We have to do better with protecting our young, I used to be the picture queen, trust me. I used to be the picture queen. I used to post all kinds of pictures of kids, because to us, every little moment is like, we want to share every moment or have every memory, especially on our, pages and stuff. It used to be fun and safe on social media, but now not so. We got to get to the point where, we take pictures, keep it within ourselves, or if we just need to put it on our social media page to keep it, I guess, to save it or to keep you as a memory of it, do it where just you. Even that's not really to say, because some of these agencies, they taking pictures and selling it. You hear about what happened to the people that was contracted with school, taking kids' school pictures and stuff. When them Epstein files came out, we found out a lot of things, a lot of disturbing things. We found out about a lot of people involved with these children, and that's what made me look at just about everybody different now, It's no discrimination in that factor about things. So just be mindful, be very, very mindful of the things you share, especially when it comes down to things and pictures about our babies. I think I'm about to end it there. I think I pretty much have the overall things covered. I'm not going to go into detail to tell y'all everything you need to get. Y'all just use your common sense and the things you would need for an emergency situation, things you would need to do. Like I said, be mindful of needing backups on everything, stocking up, meaning like for example, if you just got, let's say for example, if you buy a jug of water, you might want to go get another jug of water a few days later, stock it up, just one jug of water, and you got a house full of people. It's not gonna help you and your family survive, not even one day. So just be in consideration. Just use your common sense on the things that you know that you and your family would need. I said, come together basically with your, neighbor, get to know your neighbors, get to know people in your neighborhood. Communication is always key, be mindful of your surroundings, just change up some things, try not to be by yourself too often, especially try not to be out at night. And oh yes, y'all night owls, y'all people that like to be out here, y'all still thinking it's a game out here, going to these nightclubs, especially the young ladies, y'all going out here, you put yourself in a line of fire, like you put yourself out there. And no, it's no right for anybody to do anything to you or to attack you or anything, because people need to have self-control. But you see, we're at an era in life where everybody don't have self-control. So knowing where we at, you got to use your wisdom and understanding that, this is not the time where you can just go out and just have fun, especially by yourself. This is not the time for that. No, those days are pretty much over. So, be mindful of those days too. I mean, those type of things too, Ladies shouldn't be driving at nighttime, no way, especially if you're by yourself, unless you're coming home from work or going to work or, taking care of something very, very important, But that's when most people do their most evil, nighttime. Nighttime is when the enemy starts to use people to do their most vicious, gross darkness at nighttime. So that's enough of my I guess teaching. I don't know what to call it, but I guess like I said, it was just more or less to inform y'all and to make you aware of some things and to refresh on some things to remember, and to know and to do and not to do, basically. And if I think of anything else, I'll probably try to type it underneath the video. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just be careful. Just be very mindful out here. Understand where we at. Just keep watching and praying and keep yourself covered. You want to be covered at all times. You want to stay prayed up, you and your family. Even pray for the land where you at. Ask God to protect the land, the areas, you and your kids. Go, you and your family, whether you marry or not, where y'all go at, cover yourself with oil everywhere you go, even at nighttime. I cover us too at night, even when we're in the house, yes, because evil don't have no set time when evil will show up. You see what I'm saying? Spiritual battles, it's always raging war, especially when you're trying to live right, So we're, like I said, when you're trying to live right, you're trying to follow God's law, we're the main target. So just understand that this is the time that you cannot really afford to fall, number one, and number two, take lightly of what life is really presenting itself to be out here. All right, you guys. Well, I love y'all, and hope I covered everything. And just be aware. Y'all stay encouraged, and keep trusting God, stay in prayer, but most importantly, stay in faith. Love y'all sincerely, Lenny Cadoggins.